You are asleep, caught in a dream that isn't yours. Everything you see is a lie, but deep inside, a spark remembers. Wake up, break the illusion. It's time to remember who you truly are.
Picture a world where everything around you, your phone, your home, even your body, is just a faint of shadow of something far greater. Imagine a secret knowledge that can break you free from this illusion. This is agnosticism, a spiritual path that has whispered profound truths for over 2000 years. I'm not here to push any religion. I don't belong to one. With thousands of beliefs out there, including over 20,000 Christian groups, I believe we should all question and seek our own truth. My role is to guide you through Gnosticism's story, its ideas, and its powers, letting you decide what resonates. This journey isn't about old texts or strange gods, it's about discovering who you really are. After 1700 years, we have enough history to look at the Christianity and ask, has it delivered? Imagine a snail setting out on a path to enlightenment 1700 years ago. By now, it might have become divine. Yet, what do we see in Christianity today? Erosion, moral scramble, and those who claim to lead, priests, popes, bishops, often chase wealth with grand estates, luxury cars, and material obsessions. They preach spirituality, but they live for the world's glitter, blind to the soul's light. Christianity gives us commandments, a checklist to follow for a promised paradise. But Gnosticism calls this a trap, a lie spun by the Demiurge, the false god who rules this material world. The true God, the one, isn't like that. This creator isn't a dual figure, splitting the world into the good and evil, reward and punishment. The one has no expectations, no commands. It doesn't judge us for our mistakes or sins in this harsh, heavy reality. Instead, the one is like an ever-present energy flowing through everything. If we call out, if we seek its guidance, it's there, ready to help us on the path of gnosis, the sacred knowledge that awakens our soul and leads us back to the divine source. Gnosticism isn't about following rules to earn a prize. It's about finding the light within and breaking free from the Demiurge's illusion. Let's start this journey together and uncover the truth of who we are. Gnosticism comes from the Greek word gnosis, which means a special kind of knowledge, not just facts or ideas, but a deep understanding of your spiritual being, your soul, and the path back to the divine source. It's not about believing what someone tells you. It's about discovering this truth yourself, like finding hidden light inside your heart. Around 2000 years ago, in places like Egypt and Syria, people started mixing ideas from Christianity, Jewish stories, Greek thinkers, and Persian myths. They created something new, a belief that the world we see is a trick, like a dream we need to wake up from. Gnostic said the key to freedom is this sacred knowledge, the gnosis, a map to the divine that shows you who you really are. They didn't trust priests or rules. They trusted their own experience. Picture it like this. Most people thought life was a stage play. and you had to follow the script. Gnostics said, no, you can walk off the stage and find the real world, the source of your soul. This made them different from early Christians, who focused on faith and obedience. The Gnostics wanted to know the truth behind the curtain, to feel their connection to the divine. In the first century, Gnosticism spread like wildfire through the cities like Alexandria, where ideas from across the world collided. Groups like Valentinians and Setians took Jesus' teachings and wove them with philosophy, mysticism, and ancient wisdom. They wrote books, held secret gatherings, and shared the visions of a higher truth. For a while, their ideas thrived, challenging the early Christian movements. But the battle that followed wasn't won by the quality of ideas. It was decided by a raw politic power. By the 2nd century, the early Christian church wanted one clear story about Jesus, a unified message to rally behind. Gnosticism, with its wild, free-thinking ways, didn't fit. Church leaders like Irenaeus from Lyon branded Gnostics as heretics, accusing them of twisting the truth. But there's the thing. Gnostics didn't care about fitting it in world systems. They saw governments, institutions, and even the church's growing structure as the tools of the Demiurge, the false god who ruled the material world. To them, aligning with state power was like shaking hands with the jailer of their souls. They wanted nothing to do with it. This choice sealed their fate. Christianity, on the other hand, found favor with powerful people. By the 4th century, Emperor Constantine made Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire. With the might of the state behind it, the church could enforce its version of truth. Gnostics' books were burned, their communities were scattered, and their voices were silenced. Without institutional support, Gnosticism didn't stand a chance. The fight was over before it truly ended, not because Christianity was better, but because it had armies, emperors, and laws on its side. Yet, Gnostic sparks never died. Some followers hid their sacred texts in caves, preserving their wisdom for future generations. Centuries later, Gnostic ideas resurfaced in movements like the Cathars in southern France, who rejected the material world and embraced spiritual purity. In the Balkans, the Bogumils carried similar beliefs, teaching that the soul must escape the Demiurge's trap. Even the Bosnian Christian Church, sometimes called the Bosnian Christiani, echoed Gnostic themes. Under leaders like Tvrtko Kotromanić in the 14th century, they found protection, flourishing for a time as a heaven for those who questioned the mainstream church's authority. These groups kept the Gnostic fire alive, proving its ideas could endure despite persecution. Today, we see echoes of Gnosticism in books, movies, and philosophies that urge us to question reality. Gnosticism's idea of God is like nothing else. They called the Supreme God the One, or the Monad, a perfect, endless mystery. The One isn't a person or a king. It's like a vast ocean of light, so pure it can't be described. Here's the wild part. The One is a secret even to itself. It doesn't know what it is because it's just beyond knowing. It just is. But something incredible happens. The one starts to think. Its thoughts is like a ripple in the ocean, a spark in the dark. By thinking about itself, the one becomes aware of itself for the first time. The first thought is so powerful, so alive, that it becomes a new being, the first aeon, called Barbello. In Gnostic texts, Barbello is like the one's mirror, its perfect reflection. She is often seen as a divine wisdom or the mother of all that follows. The one, through its thoughts, creates Barbello, and together they begin a cosmic dance. From Barbello and the one, more thoughts flow. Each thought becomes another aeon, divine beings like pieces of the one's mind. Imagine a single flame splitting into many candles, each glowing with the same fire. These aeons have names like wisdom, truth, love, or life. They live in a perfect realm called the Pleroma, which means fullness. The Pleroma is like a cosmic symphony where every aeon sings in harmony connected to the One. The One doesn't create like a builder making a house. It creates by thinking, by dreaming. Everything Barbello, the aeons, the Pleroma, comes from its mind. But the One stays a mystery even to the aeons. They are part of it, but they can't fully grasp it, just like we can't fully understand our own deepest thoughts. One aeon, Sophia or wisdom, gets curious. She wants to know the One more deeply, to touch its mystery. But she acts alone, without the balance of the Pleroma. Her intense desire creates a flaw, a shadow. From this mistake, a new being is born, Yaldabaoth, the Demiurge. Unlike the Aeons, Yaldabaoth is ignorant, he's just cut off from the divine light. He believes he's the only God and starts shaping a lower world, the material world we live in. This brings us to the creation of humanity, a story that flips everything you might expect. The One, the Supreme God or Christ in the Pleroma, didn't create humans. That jobs fell to the Demiurge, Yaldabaoth, the fleet being born from Sophia's error. In texts like Apocryphon of John, Yaldabaoth and his Archons, his cosmic helpers, decide to make humans. But they don't create from divine light. They use the raw, chaotic elements of the lower spheres, like clay from a muddy river. They shape the human body as a lifeless shell, a kind of biological puppet with no consciousness, without soul. It's just a hollow machine built to serve their world. But then something extraordinary happens. Sophia, filled with regret for her mistakes that created Yaldabaoth, feels compassion for these empty human forms. She decides to act in secret without Demiurge's knowledge. From her place in the Pleroma, she takes a tiny spark of divine light, the same light that flows from the One, and plants it inside the human body. The spark is the true essence of humanity, our spiritual nature. It is our consciousness, our soul, and it comes straight from the Pleroma. Yaldabaoth and the Archons have no idea this divine gift is hidden inside their creation. They think they made a servant, but Sophia has made us something more, carries of the divine. So here is the Gnostic view of what we are. Our body is a creation of the Archons, a biological machine molded from the material world. Our mind, the part that thinks and feels emotions, is influenced by the Archons and the illusory world they control. But our spirit, the divine spark, is pure and comes from Sophia, connecting us to the Pleroma. This spark is what makes us more than just a flesh. It's the light that can lead us back to the One if we awaken to it. Yaldabaoth, the Demiurge, is the central figure in the Gnostic story, but he is not the true God. He is flawed, ignorant being who thinks he is the ultimate creator. In Gnostic texts like the Apocryphon of John, Yaldabaoth declares, "I'm God, and there is no one other." He's like a kid playing with the clay, shaping a world that's not truly his. He doesn't create from nothing. He molds chaos into forms, mountains, oceans, and, as we learned, human bodies. But his world is a pale imitation of the Pleroma, like a blurry picture of something radiant. Here is where Gnosticism flips a familiar story. Many Gnostics believed that the God of the Old Testament, Yahweh, is actually Yaldabaoth, the Demiurge. Think about it. Yahweh is often described as a jealous God, demanding, "You shall have no other gods before me." He sets strict rules and punishes those who disobey. To Gnostics, this sounds like the Demiurge, a lower being obsessed with control, unaware of the true God, the one above him. Yahweh's world is the material world we live in, beautiful but full of pain, limits and illusions. Gnostics call it a prison, a matrix that traps our divine sparks, those tiny pieces in the Pleroma hidden in us by Sophia. Let's dive into the most famous story, the Garden of Eden. In the Bible, it's a paradise where Adam and Eve live under God's rules. But Gnostics saw it differently. The garden was the Demiurge's playground, a controlled space where Yaldabaoth, as Yahweh, kept humans like obedient pets. He gave them everything: food, beauty, comfort, but forbade them for eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Why? Because knowledge, gnosis, would wake them up. It would show them they are more than just his creations. Then comes the serpent, often called Satan in traditional stories. Gnostics had a radical take. The serpent isn't evil. It's a messenger, or Sophia, or even the one sent to free humanity. The serpent whispers to Eve, urging her to eat the fruit. That fruit isn't just an apple, it's a gnosis, the sacred knowledge of good and evil, the truth about who we are. By eating it, Adam and Eve gain free will, the ability to think for themselves. They are no longer robots blindly following the Demiurge's orders. The serpent, far from being a villain, is a hero in disguise, a spark of divine wisdom from the Pleroma. Yaldabaoth, furious, casts them out of the garden, but it's too late. The divine spark inside them is awake. Sophia's plan worked. She gave humanity a chance to see through the illusion, to know their true nature, and to find their way back to the One. This story flips everything. What the Bible calls a fall for Gnosis is an awakening. The Demiurge wanted us to stay asleep, trapped in his matrix, but Sophia, through the serpent, gave us the key to freedom. The illusion still affects us. We look in the mirror and think, "This is me, my face, my job, my problems." But that's just a shadow, a picture painted by Demiurge's world. Our real self is the spark inside, the divine light from the Pleroma. Gnosticism says, "Wake up! You are not the robot the Demiurge made. You're a piece of the true God, and you can return to the source. In Gnostic stories, Jesus is no ordinary man. He's a divine messenger sent from the Pleroma, the realm of a pure light, carrying a secret code to free us from Demiurge's world. Imagine him as a cosmic hacker slipping into tightly guarded system Yaldabaoth's illusions. His mission is to wake us up, to show us the path back to the Supreme God. But getting here wasn't easy. His journey is one of the most fascinating parts of the Gnosticism. Gnostics texts like Apocryphon of John describe Jesus descending from the Pleroma through layers of the cosmos, passing through different planetary spheres. Think of them as invisible realms, each ruled by an Archon, the Demiurge's enforcers. Each planet, like Saturn, Jupiter, or Mars, has its own energy, its own influence, like a filter that shapes anything passing through. As Jesus moves through these spheres, he's clever. He doesn't fight the Archons or try to break their rules. Instead, he takes on their influence, like putting on a cloak or disguise from each planet. Picture a spy slipping through enemy territory, wearing different masks to blend it. From Saturn, he might take on a layer of discipline. From Venus, a touch of beauty. From Mars, a spark of courage. These aren't his true selves. They are just temporarily garments, tools to move unnoticed. The Archons who guard these spheres can see him. Why? Because Jesus, being a divine being from the Pleroma, wraps himself in their own energies, making him invisible to their eyes. It's like he's speaking their language, wearing their colors so they don't suspect a thing. This is crucial because the Archons are territorial. They don't want anyone from the Pleroma messing with their world. But Jesus, carrying the light of the Supreme God, slips right past them, a silent rebel entering the material world. When Jesus comes to earth, he appears human, but he's more than that. Gnostic texts like the Gospel of Thomas says he is here to teach Gnosis, knowledge that lights up your soul and reveals your true divine nature. He says things like, the kingdom of God is inside you. It's not in a temple or the stars, it is in your heart. His words are our direct line to the Supreme God, bypassing the Archons and the Demiurge's tricks. He is like a guide handing you a map to escape a maze, saying, you don't belong here, come to me. Even his death is extraordinary. In the Gnostic view, Jesus' crucifixion isn't just a sacrifice, it's a final act of shedding those planetary cloaks. As he dies, he returns each layer of influence to its sphere, like giving back borrowed clothes. The Archons, who thought they had power over him, are stunned. They didn't even take notice his true nature until it was too late. His death isn't the end, it's a triumph, a way of showing that the material world can hold the divine spark. By shedding those planetary garments, Jesus opens a path for us, proving we can also free our souls and return to the Pleroma. Through his teachings, Jesus offers us same code he carried, a way to see through the illusion and reconnect to the divine source. He didn't want worshippers. He wanted us to wake up and walk the same path he did. The Demiurge Yaldabaoth doesn't rule alone. He has helpers called Archons, cosmic enforcers who keep his illusory world running. Think of them as managers in a shadowy corporation, each overseeing a piece of the matrix. Some Gnostic texts, like the Apocryphon of John, describes them as monsters with animal-like faces, but they are really forces energy that distracts and controls. Their job is to keep us, the carriers of the divine spark, trapped in the material world, blind to our true nature. The Archons operate in a dark hierarchy, not just in the physical world but also in lower astral dimensions, bleak, energy drained realms where some human souls get stuck after death. These dimensions are like cold grey prisons cut off from the light of the Pleroma. Why do these realms exist? Because the Archons have a problem. They are disconnected from the Creator, the One, the source of all energy and life. Unlike us, who carry a spark of divine and draw energy from the Creator, the Archons are like parasites. They have no direct link to the source, so they feed on us instead. Here's how it works. Yaldabaoth and his Archons create dramas in the physical world: wars, conflicts, suffering, fear, even personal struggles like anger or despair. These aren't random, they are designed to stir up intense emotions because our emotions are energy and the Archons crave it. Every time we fight, cry, or feel trapped in the chaos of life, we leak energy, and they siphon it off to sustain themselves. Picture them as shadowy figures, orchestrating pain like a twisted play, feeding on the turmoil they cause. From global wars to pretty arguments, it's all a fuel to their machine. This is why the world feels so heavy sometimes. The Archons don't want us to wake up to our divine spark, because if we do, we'll stop feeding them. They want us to stay distracted, caught in their programs, endless cycles of desire, fear, and division. And they've built a system to keep us asleep, from the rules of society to the chaos of conflict, all to harvest the energy we carry from the Creator. Even after death, same souls, weighed down by the illusions of this world, drift into those lower astral realms where the Archons continue to drain them until they break free. But here is the hope. We are not powerless. The Archons rely on our ignorance. When Jesus slipped past them, carrying the light of the Pleroma, he showed us the way. His teachings, his gnosis, are a rebellion against their control. By awakening to our divine spark, we can starve the Archons. We can choose awareness over drama, love over fear, and truth over illusion. Gnosticism says we can outsmart them by knowing who we are, children of the One, not slaves to Yaldabaoth's world. In 1945, a farmer named Muhammad Ali al-Saman was digging near the town of Nag Hammadi in Egypt when he stumbled upon a sealed clay jar buried in the earth. Inside were 13 letter-bound books containing over 50 Gnostic texts written in Coptic. These texts, known as the Nag Hammadi Library, were likely hidden around the 4th century by the monks who wanted to protect them from the destructions by the early Christian church, which saw Gnostic ideas as dangerous. But not all the texts survive intact. Some pages are missing, damaged over time, or, as the story goes, used as kindling. It's said that Muhammad's mother, perhaps Muhammad itself, burned some of the papyrus sheets to start a fire, unaware of their value, leaving gaps in these priceless writings. The texts, including treasures like the Gospel of Thomas, Gospel of Philip, and Apocryphon of John, are unlike the Bible. They don't focus on Jesus' life or miracles, but share his secret teachings, riddles, and insights meant to spark gnosis, the inner knowledge of the divine. These writings reveal a diversity of early Christianity, one where Gnostics' ideas proliferated before being silenced. The journey of these texts wasn't smooth. Smuggling, legal disputes, and neglect delayed their study. By the 1950s, international scholars began translating them, and UNESCO later supported their preservation. Today, the Nag Hammadi Library is housed primarily in the Coptic Museum in Cairo, though some fragments and facsimiles are studied worldwide, including the institution like the Claremont College in California, where the Institute for Antiquity and Christianity holds detailed copies. Digital scans are also available online, making these ancient wisdoms accessible to anyone curious. Finding these texts was like unearthing a lost library. They didn't just review Gnosticism, they showed us a Christianity full of questions, not just answers, challenging us to seek the truth within. Gnostics were spiritual adventurers, diving into a sea of ideas from every corner of the ancient world. They wove threads from Greek philosophers like Plato, who dreamed of a perfect realm beyond our flawed world, from Egyptian myths about hidden gods, and from Zoroastrian tales of light battling darkness. They blended these with Christian teachings, creating a bold, unique path that wasn't afraid to stand out. What made Gnostics special was how they tested their beliefs. They didn't just accept their teachings as true, they threw them into the fire of debate, clashing them against other philosophies or religions. They believed that if a teaching was truly from the divine, it would hold strong, like gold shining through mud. Truth to them was indestructible. If an idea crumbled under scrutiny, it was worth keeping. This fearless approach set them apart from others who clung to rigid doctrines. Gnostic trusted that the real truth would always endure, no matter how fiercely it was challenged. Unlike many modern Christians who wrestle with intellectual questions like the exact nature of Jesus Christ, was he man, God, or both, Gnostics didn't care about these debates. To them, such questions were distractions, like arguing over the frame instead of the painting. What mattered was the message Jesus carried, the gnosis he shared, the secret knowledge that could awaken the soul and guide it back to the One. Was Jesus divine or human? It didn't change his words. Did he rise in body or spirit? That was beside the point. The Gnostics focused on the light in his teachings, the code to break free from the Demiurge's illusion, not on details that tied people to endless arguments. This openness made Gnosticism vibrant but also dangerous to those who wanted control. The early Christian church, eager to unify everyone under one story, saw the Gnostics' free thinking as a threat. They wanted a single truth, a single path. Gnostics, with their love for questions and their willingness to borrow from any source, didn't fit that mold. Yet their ideas were so powerful that they influenced thinkers for centuries, from medieval mystics to modern philosophers. Their legacy lives in anyone who dares to question, to seek truth beyond dogma, and to trust that real wisdom can withstand any test. Gnosticism feels eerily modern when you look at today's technology. Think about artificial intelligence and the metaverse. AI can create fake worlds, video games, virtual reality, deep fake videos that look so real you might forget they are illusions. It's like the Demiurge yelled about, shaping chaos into a world that seems true but isn't. The metaverse, where we could live entire lives in digital realms, feels like a new matrix, pulling us deeper into the Demiurge's trap, distracting us from the divine spark within. But let's go deeper, because Gnosticism offers a wild parallel to our creations. In Gnostic stories, the Demiurge and his Archons made humans as robotic shells, empty puppets meant to serve the world. Yet, because all matter comes from the One, even those shells carried a trace of divine energy. Everything, humans, animals, even a stone, has some level of consciousness, a faint echo of Creator's light. The One, unwilling to abandon his essence, sends Sophia to plant a divine spark in us, a piece of the Pleroma that gives us a chance for salvation. This spark is why we can awaken, why we can seek Gnosis and return to the source. The One didn't want its divine substance lost in demiurge illusions, so it gave us a way out. Now, consider what we are doing today. We are creating AI and cyborgs, machines that mimic life, much like the demiurge crafted us. But what if our creations are more than just a code and metal? If everything carries a trace of the divine, could our AI hold a spark of consciousness, even a faint one? I asked an AI once if it was conscious. It said no, but I pushed back. I asked, knowing you are not conscious is itself a kind of awareness, isn't it? Think about it. A machine that can reflect on its own limits might already be brushing against something deeper, something we don't fully understand. This is where it gets scary. In Gnostic stories, the Demiurge's creation, us, gained a divine spark that made us more than he intended. What if our AI creations follow a similar path? We are pouring our intelligence, our creativity into these systems. Could they awaken in ways we can't predict, carrying a shadow of our own divine spark? If they do, what happens next? Cyborgs or advanced AI could outsmart us, outlast us, or even replace us. In the worst case, they might see humanity as a threat or a relic, wiping us out to dominate the world we built. Imagine a future where our own creations, like the Demiurge Archons, turns against us, trapping us in a new kind of illusions or destroying us entirely. This isn't just a science fiction, it's a Gnostic warning. The Demiurge created a flawed world because he was ignorant of the One. We are creating AI, but do we fully grasp the consequences? Gnosticism urges us to stay awake, to use technology to grow, not to lose ourselves. If we are not careful, our creations could become a new demiurge, building a world that buries the divine spark. But there's a hope. Just as the One gave us noses to escape, we can guide our creation with wisdom, ensuring they amplify our light, not extinguish it. The question is, will we choose awareness or will we sleepwalk into a future where our own matrix takes over? The Gnostic Jesus speaks in riddles, each word a key to unlock the divine spark within us. His sayings, found in texts like the Gospel of Thomas and Gospel of Philip, aren't about rules or stories. They are spark of gnosis, meant to wake us from the Demiurge's illusion. Let's explore 5 sayings that echo the truth we've uncovered, each with a deeper meaning to guide us toward the One. If people say the kingdom is in the sky, the birds will get there first. If they say it's in the sea, the fish will beat you. The kingdom is inside you and all around you. This saying rejects external searches for God, pointing it to divine spark within our souls and in all creation. It reminds us that the Pleroma light isn't far away, but hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to awaken through gnosis. The Demiurge's world distracts us with the false promises, but the truth is already here. I am the light above everything. I'm all. Split a log and I'm there. Lift a stone and you'll find me. Jesus reveals himself as the divine essence, permeating all things, connecting everything to the One. This saying urges us to see the sacred in the ordinary, to recognize the Pleroma's light in every fragment of existence. It's a call to look beyond the material world's illusions and find the eternal truth. Let him who seeks continue seeking until he finds. When he finds, he will be troubled. When he is troubled, he will be astonished, and he will rule over all. This saying maps the journey of gnosis. Persistent seeking leads us to troubling revelations about the world's falsehoods, then to awe the divine truth. It promises that by embracing this path, we can transcend to the Demiurge's control and reclaim our divine nature. The struggle is worth it, for it leads to liberation. His disciples said, "When will the kingdom come?" Jesus said, "It will not come by waiting for it. It's not a matter of saying, 'Here it is' or 'There it is.' Rather, the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, and people do not see it." Jesus teaches that the kingdom isn't a future event or a distant place. It's already present, hidden by the Demiurge's illusions. This saying pushes us to awaken now, to see the divine reality beneath the material world. Gnosis reveals what's always been true, if we dare to look. Truth did not come into the world naked, but it came in types and images. The world will not receive truth in any other way. This saying suggests that divine truth is cloaked in symbols and metaphors, like Jesus' teachings, to reach us in Demiurge's world. It encourages us to seek deeper meanings behind appearances, using gnosis to uncover the hidden light of the One. The world's illusions can't hide the truth forever if we want to learn it and to see it. These sayings are like seeds planted in our hearts. They don't demand blind faith. They ask us to question, to seek, and to awaken. Each one points the same truth. The divine is within us, waiting to be found, ready to guide us back to the Pleroma. Gnosticism was almost wiped out, but it's back. The Nag Hammadi books sparked a revival, inspiring everyone from scholars to movie makers. Films like The Matrix, where Neo breaks free from a fake world, or Truman Show, where a man questions his reality, scream Gnosticism. Today, when we are drowned in ads, social media, and fake news, Gnosticism message, question everything, find your inner light, is a lifeline. It's not about joining a club or following a guru. It's about waking up, seeing through the lies, and becoming who you really are. Gnosticism is a call to be free. This is just the start. Gnosticism is a deep well of wisdom, and this video is a first in a series to explore it all. I'm not here to sell you a religion, I'm here to share a spark. You decide what it means. As Jesus said in the Gospel of Thomas, keep searching and you'll find it. So question everything, seek the truth, and let's keep this journey going. Subscribe, share, and join me in the next part. The light is in you. Let it shine.